Maria Brea, soprano, is a native of Caracas, Venezuela. She is the founder of the Instagram platform Latina Women in Opera, a Spanish diction expert for Diction Buddy, a vocal teacher, and she has a blossoming career. She has won the Gerda Listener Encouragement Award and first prize at Giulio Gari, but most recently, she won the Metropolitan Opera District of Philadelphia this winter, was a finalist at the Paris Opera Competition, the BBC Cardiff Competition, and sixth prize and Zarzuela Prize winner in the Venus Competition in Barcelona last summer. Just last week, she made her debut as the soprano soloist in Orff's Carmina Burana at Carnegie Hall under the baton of Mark Shapiro. And she also performed Haydn's Creation Oratorio with the Richmond Symphony Orchestra. Maria has performed many opera roles with major companies over the last 5 years, including Netta, Narina, Mimi, Micaela, and so many more. We don't have time to list them all here. She will be making her premiere debut in Pittsburgh this summer, singing Gilda in Rigoletto with Resonance Works. And now she is sharing with us the keys to moving forward, no matter your trials or circumstance. She joins us now.
Maria, I am so excited to have you here with me today. It's always a joy to be with you. We haven't been able to work together in quite a while because of the pandemic. I miss seeing your beautiful face in concert and rehearsal, but thank you again for sharing with us today on If Only I Knew. I know you have so many special things that you can share with young artists. And so I just want to get right into it. For anybody who was listening to the bio right before this, they learned a lot about you, a lot of incredible things about the competitions and all the different operas that you have done. But what I would love for you to share is your own personal story. For those who are listening, they might not know that you're from Venezuela. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I would love for you to share your journey because it is one of resilience and it is a story of tenacity. And I think that these are some things that we're seeing a little bit less of these days in young artists. And I feel like your story is relatable, you know, whether you're a New Yorker watching this, whether you're a country farm girl like me, no matter where you live, I think that we all can take away something valuable from your story and your journey. So once again, thanks for joining me today. And please go ahead and the floor is yours. Share your story with us.
Thank you, Sherry. Well, the admiration is mutual because I admire you, the person that you are, the musician that you are, the pianist, you know, the woman that you are, the love that you bring into everything you do. I just admire, and I'm very grateful to be in this space sharing with, you know, the young artists and the ones that are starting their career in opera. I come from Caracas, Venezuela. I grew up in a slum, in a rather violent place. And it was a place that, you know, we didn't get mail because there was no postal office coming to our place because we just didn't have them, you know. I grew up in a place where you had to walk a few miles to get your trash out. You know, basically the sewer system is the river, you know, it's pretty, you know, different than New York for sure. In the same way, Venezuela is a bubble where because of the oil that we have and the history of it, we're a social democracy. So education was free, healthcare was free. We had access to, you know, things that usually here, if you are not coming from a family that has, you know, some base and some money, like you don't have access to those things like I did. So, you know, even though I was growing up around gangs and violence and drug points right in front of my school, you know, and finding that people in the street, you know, colleagues who are dead already, 5 of my colleagues are dead. I still had access to education. And I think that's something that I am eternally grateful for, and that I had the parents that I have that were they are themselves professionals, that I had that sort of mindset. I think I am a lucky person. I'm very lucky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would love, Maria, for you to share a little bit, now that you've given us background about, you know, where you're from. Obviously, you've been here in the US for almost 11 years. Yes. I would love for you to share your story of that transition from Caracas to here, because to me, that is where your tenacity shines through. That moment that you realized that you wanted to be an opera singer, right? And you were going to stop at nothing to accomplish that dream. Can you walk us through that a little bit and how that went down?
I would say there are, I guess, 3 layers to this. There's the layer of the love that I have for this music and the passion I have for the art form, for being an opera singer. That's like the first layer. Then there is the layer of family, that I wanted a better future for my family, on top of the third layer, which is the humanitarian crisis that my country is facing. All of that in one looked like I need to get out to be able to do this, to be able to save my family from a totalitarian dictatorship, communist dictatorship.
Yes.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to get out. And with the help of my voice teacher there, who kind of like showed me places to audition, I had no idea. I had never even taken a plane before I left Venezuela to do my audition here in New York. So I had this purpose for what I wanted to do, and it was strong, and it still fuels my love for music. You know, it still fuels my strength to keep going, because I know that it has a purpose beyond obviously the music, which is important, which is absolutely important, because I love it and I know it's something I can do every day, and it's such an honorable way to earn my living and earn my life. But I also know that I'm also making an impact in my family, that for many years with the competitions I won, I was able to send money back home, and help. You know, my father would cross the border to pick up the money in Colombia to be able to buy his insulin, to be able to buy a decent mattress, you know, like things like that, for my mom's medicine for her hypertension, you know, her blood pressure. And it was, I think that all of it was feeding itself. And I consider myself very lucky, again, very lucky, very grateful, because I know that not everyone ends up in that situation, that they have the tools, but things don't work out, you know. So I am very grateful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So your excuse me, your voice teacher in Caracas is the one that essentially encouraged you to apply in New York for college.
Yeah, she encouraged me. She said, you know what, I think you have the talent to be able to go to a school outside of the country. We had looked into Spain, but it was really her idea for me to look into MSM and to Manhattan School of Music. Actually, it was the only one school I could apply for, because that's all the money I had. But you know, it was like a lot of people putting the money together to be able to play for that application. So I applied to only one college.
Oh wow. Okay. I had forgotten that was like it. That was the one shot, you know, as Americans who might be watching this, know that most of us will apply. It's standard to apply for 5 to 6, right? Because it's like, well, if I don't get into this one, then maybe I'll get into this one. And so all of your eggs, as they say, are in one basket. It's like, this is it. I need to get in here because this is it. That's really incredible. I mean, and you're right. The cost of applications, it's an expensive, that alone is an expensive process. And then having to fly across the globe for the audition is a whole other expense. And I believe I've heard you share before, because even, you know, when we're talking about, you know, growing up in a country, you know, with this dictatorship and political unrest. And so, you know, your family finds yourself in this financial predicament, if you will, getting to the money just for a plane ticket, you know, over here we take for granted. It's like, well, I'll just save a little bit here and there to save up for a plane ticket. But that was not an option. And I believe, didn't several people come together, or how did that work?
Yeah, basically for my trip, to be able to get here. My mom is a medical doctor. She had a patient who had a company. She helped him get better when he had leukemia. So his name is Antonio, and he like feels like my mom saved his life, you know. So, and I think, you know, because she's a very dedicated medical doctor. So he kind of like felt like he owed her something, and he was the biggest donor, I guess, for this whole process. And he helped within like other people too. Like other people would give me like $20. Hey, I have this $20.
Oh, that's amazing.
So sweet. Yeah, my whole community, I guess, like, it doesn't mean that they were all from Islam, but like people that knew me, and that my parents came together. And my parents themselves, you know, my country has deteriorated even more now, but back then you could have a credit card. Now credit cards don't really exist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you could apply. I mean, before it was not like this. The government decided to control any other currency that is not our currency, which caused the biggest economical disaster in my country and the countries that are in the vicinity, because obviously anything that happens within a country will affect other people who we like exchange with. And the government decided that in order to have dollars, you could only have certain amount of dollars, and you had to apply through this folder that was so complicated. Like if you did it in a certain order, it will just be like turned back to you. Like this was called Kadibi at that time. It existed. It doesn't even exist anymore. They would give you, I think it was like $200 to do online shopping only. $3,000 for traveling, but I did not have a credit card, so I couldn't travel with my parents. But my parents use like their online money to help me with anything I could need online,
right?
Because they were not traveling. So like if you were traveling, that was a separate.
Wow.
Yeah, they used to call this the Cupo Cadivi. Anyone who hears that who's Venezuelan has like chills, probably, like just wants to vomit after. I mean, sorry for using that kind of language.
No,
but it's just, yeah.
I appreciate your honesty. I think for people to really understand what we're talking about here, and truly the tenacity and the resilience that you have shown through a very challenging process. And I just even love hearing about how your community came behind you just for money for the plane ticket, because, you know, we sometimes hear the phrase, it takes a village. And this is one of those moments where that happened for you. And then if we fast forward, the good news is you did get into Manhattan School of Music, to that one school that you applied for, with scholarship, which is so incredible. And anybody who has heard you sing would understand why you got accepted. You just have such a beautiful voice. And but what is so amazing to me is it was like, okay, I have this scholarship, but then the reality hits of New York City,
the cost of living in one of the most expensive places in the country, probably arguably the world. It's we both know the challenges of trying to keep up here. It's hard. Even with American dollars, it's really hard. So then all of a sudden you're given this opportunity, but realizing that you don't have all the financial resources to get over there. And I would love for you to share kind of what you decided to do to kind of maybe make that work.
Well, I had a few ideas. Some of them were a little bit crazy. I was gonna go to banks to talk to like businessmen there with a folder that I was gonna bring and sing to them in the middle of the bank. So that was an idea. So just so you know.
Yes, and you're 20 at this time, right? This is your 20 years.
I was 20 years.
Yes.
Okay. I was 20 years.
Got it.
Yeah. I had this crazy idea. It's gonna happen like that. It's just gonna work. I'm gonna go to a bank and companies, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, my name is Maria Brea, and and I'm going to be showing you my folder with all the things I've done. And I come from Los Frailes de Catia, and I'll train your people to like whatever people you have under your management to sing, and I'll do concerts for you, and I'll sing right now." And like that was my whole like script.
I love it.
And I was about to do that actually. I did not get to that. I did contact the government. The government said no. Well, how do you think we're gonna go and like against the empire?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
El imperio, you know what I mean? Like they called the US the imperio, the empire. Wow. Okay. So I guess that did not happen. Whatever. I said, okay, it's okay. But they would pay for other things, which is like a whole topic, but for another time. So I saw this TV program, and it caught my eye because it was a choir that I had seen in a festival I was in when I was doing music education. I went to college for music education in my country. I only did 3 years. And I saw it caught my eye, and I saw this journalist saying, if you have a story to share or something like that, just share it to this email, which I still remember, otravision@globalvision.com. So I was like, I'm going to write her an email, and I'm going to ask her to see if she knows someone who would be willing to help me with this. And I'm very grateful and very, happy to exchange for talent. Like whatever I do, I will pay with my talent. And that's what I did. And she was like, no, I'm going to come interview you in your house. She called me the next day. I was like, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, you're not going to come to my house. I'm ashamed of showing my house. Like, please don't come to my house. And let's do this somewhere else. She's like, I cannot do that because people won't believe you. And this is where the news are. And don't worry, I'm not afraid of coming here. Like, she was pregnant at the end of her pregnancy, like 8 months pregnant. She came to my house. I was so afraid for her because we had some stairs that were like not in good shape. And she came in and she did the interview, and everyone wanted to find out about a Venezuelan opera singer from the slum. They couldn't believe it. I mean, I don't know why they couldn't believe it, because my barrio is great. Like, there are great people there. Like, there were gangsters and there are gangsters and awful things happening. There's also really good people there. We're professionals, okay? So yeah, she came in, and from there, I was even in the cover of a magazine and everything. I mean, a lot of people followed my story, and I'm eternally grateful. This beautiful family decided to support me, and they did not want a thing in exchange except not change your story. Don't come out like saying that you're some girl from an affluent family, I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I am who I am. This is my story. Whoever thinks that I'm less because of my past, then they should not be my friends. And we clearly are not vibing. Like, and that's fine. Like, I don't discriminate people for how they look, where they come from. I take people for who they are, for their actions. So I live by my truth, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think that's, really incredible that you had the courage to go, I'm going to put my story out there and see what happens. And obviously amazing things occurred out of that. And you had this amazing donor that helped you to be able to come and afford to come to the United States. And I know that this is an anonymous donor, and you know, that's very personal information that, you know, we won't share on this show. But I know that they are still very close to you to this day, which I think is just absolutely beautiful, that, you know, a friendship has evolved out of that moment in time because you had the courage to go for your dreams, and you didn't fall prey to what I would call maybe the victim mindset, right? It would have been, I think, easy to say, look around, people, look at what I'm living in. This is it, you know, and you didn't let that stop you. And the funny thing is, knowing you as long as I've known you now, you know, you shared the story about the business guys, and I know you. If for some reason, okay, that show, the news show hadn't turned out a donor, let's say, I know you, and I know you would have gone to every bank and you would have sung for every businessman. I know you, because that would not have been the end of your story, right? And that's where the tenacity comes. I would say, okay, that didn't work. What can I try now? And you would have kept going, and you would have kept going until somebody, or maybe you just wore the businessman. He's like, I just want you out of my office. Here's some money. Like, no, you know whatever. I know you.
Stop it. Like, yeah, please stop it. Stop coming here. We'll support you. But just don't come back, Maria.
Yeah. Yeah. But I love you. I love that about you. And I do believe that that is one of the reasons that you are seeing such incredible success right now. If you're not following Maria, people, you should be following her. Follow her on Instagram and all of the wonderful things that are happening, all of the competitions and the performances and lead roles that have come your way recently, out of the pandemic, out of a very hard couple of years. And I love that for you, because for several years now, I've said, girl, I know it's there. It's right around the corner. It's going to happen. It's going to blow up. And when it does, you know, everybody's going to know who Maria is and this spectacular voice. And we're seeing that unfold. And, you know, I liken it to a farmer with his field. And you have to bear with the farm girl in me here, you know, and my analogies, but it is right where it's a field. We're all a field, and we plant those seeds. And as artists, we're always planting seeds, and we never know how long it will be until that seed blooms into something beautiful, right? You know, I just got back from Washington, D.C., and the famous cherry blossoms, the Cherry Blossom Festival. You know, it was an incredible thing. There were some trees that still had the tight buds. They were green. They had not blossomed yet. And then there were some trees way over here that were just in their full glory. But you knew this tree over here, there was that green bud. And that soon, very soon, it was going to open up. It wasn't, will it open up? It was when. It was just a matter of when. And I see that with you. And I just, I want to encourage our young artists listening about that journey, that we don't have control of how long that journey takes. And I'd love for you to even share a little bit about that in your perspective.
That's beautiful imagery. You know, we are all those trees in the Cherry Blossom Festival. And it will take what it will take for us. And I think we will all bloom, even if, or sometimes we have bloom and we don't think we have to what we are supposed to be. Because blooming can be so many different things for so many people. And you will bloom at different stages of your career too.
Yeah. Things
that you wanted to accomplish. And I think it's about knowing why you have planted that tree, you know, and why is it that you are in a space, and what is it that you're trying to accomplish for who? For yourself, for others, for fame? You know, what are the things that will keep you coming back to that place, taking care of the tree, which is your voice, your artistry, your brand. Why is it that we do things? Purpose is very important, and it will keep you going through the hard times. And I think that, Sherry, you know the not so fancy part of this business that I think it's important to talk about, right? Like the bad days, singing with a cold, going to a competition in a different country where you don't know anything about the country. You get food poisoning. You know, like your dress breaks. Oh, this one. Your luggage, where your dress and everything gets sent to a different country. That happened. It happened to a friend.
Oh, wow.
No? Yes. Yes. I mean, many things. You're allergic to whatever pollen is in that place, and then you're having the worst kind of singing. And throughout those bad days, or like even if you got a job and everyone hates you in the performance, and like everyone is awful and they hate you, and you hate them, and they're mean, and the conductor is telling you that everything about you sucks, everything about you is terrible.
Yeah.
You really have to be there because you love the art, the craft. You love the opera. You love opera, and you love singing this way, and you love doing it every day after the worst kind of days. And then you're far away from your family too. Like if you're a family person and you love your family, you have to really love it. And you are going to have to find the strength and find a way to just focus, laser focus, right? Like so that you can get through this. And especially when you're starting, you're going to need to really ask yourself every day, why am I here? What did I wake up for? What are my goals for this week, for this month, for this day, so that I can keep going and I can be happy. So obviously there's no one way to do it, because I don't think there is one way to do it.
No.
But you have to really know why. You have to know.
Yes. And I think anybody who is listening who has not heard Simon Sinek, Sinek, and his video YouTube, Know Your Why by Simon Sinek. It is maybe one of the most brilliant TED Talks on understanding your why. And you are spot on, girl. If there's anything we have to know in our industry, it is that. Because just like any journey, we have good days and we have bad days and we have everything in between. And, if somebody doesn't know, you're a mom of twins, and that's, beautiful and hard, right? All of this, we were talking about that last night, because I'm a mom and I'm a little farther along in my mom journey with an 8-year-old. And, like you said to me last night, like, girl, looking back, I'm like, how did you do it? And I'm like, I don't know. You just do it because you have to, you have to do it because you can't imagine doing anything else. So you just go, you just do. But both of us, I think, are very secure in our why. And because we're secure in our why, we can have that bowl of ice cream on our bad day and keep going. Yeah. Okay, at least that's just how I cope. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's really beautiful, and I think you've really shown that. And I think that also goes back to the resilience, right? Wouldn't you say, like, because you know your why, and you mentioned before I love how you shared, it's not just even one layer. You were mentioning like the layers, right? So a why doesn't even have to be like this one singular thing. There can be layers to your why. And I think for most people, that's probably the case. And that's perfectly valid, like you were saying. But I think wrapped up in that is also why you have been able to be so resilient. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because I know why I'm here. I know why I'm here, and I know why would I leave too. Like if I ever was to leave, for what would I leave for? And it's purpose is very important. It's a very, very powerful thing. and you have to have your purpose. You have to have your purpose for what you do. And it's okay if your purpose doesn't look like mine or like your friends or like your teachers or whatever purpose they have. You have to kind of like discover that strength inside of you from the things that you're noticing about yourself. We are good at certain things, and it's okay to be good at certain things, right? Like, and then you strengthen obviously the other ones so that you can always strengthen your strengths too, and that will keep you going. That will allow you to go to other places, be uncomfortable, but you know why you're there, and then you kind of like ease, like you're a little bit more at ease, and then you will continue doing this for as long as you want to do it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.